Tammy Slaton, star of 1000 lb Sisters, is overjoyed after losing almost 500 pounds. Fans have encouraged Tammy to keep working toward her weight loss objectives throughout the last few seasons. When 1000 lb Sisters first on TLC, she looked very different than she does now. Above all, Tammy was able to get rid of her notorious forehead hump. She stated on screen that her current objective is skin removal surgery. Tammy has a lot to be proud of, despite the fact that she isn't quite ready yet. View pictures of her before and after. The cast of 1000 lb Sisters put a lot of emphasis on Tammy's journey during this week's season opener. A number of flashback scenes in the most recent episode showed Tammy's drastic transformation. She acknowledges that she is in awe of her achievements. During the season premiere, the 1000 lb Sisters star triumphantly stated, "I'm down 500 pounds now, around 500. I weighed more than 700 pounds when I was at my heaviest. I currently weigh 238 pounds. For Tammy in particular, losing more than 500 pounds is no small accomplishment. Fans remember how obstinate and irate she was at the start of the episode. Although she still faces numerous challenges, she is far more mobile today than she was in season 1. Tammy's siblings offered their thoughts on her weight reduction efforts as the last episode progressed. Even Tammy's forehead hump, which was quite noticeable in the early days of the show, was gone, according to one family member. The bulge that draped over her eyebrows was determined by medical specialists to be a deposit of extra fat. It vanished as well whenever Tammy began to lose a lot of weight. Tammy's emotions might be very erratic throughout her weight struggles in past seasons. Fans saw an improvement in her mental health once she began to make progress in recovery. Tammy and Amanda got into a fight last season, but she seemed to get along well with the rest of her siblings. She even posted a lot of encouraging things on social media. However, viewers saw Tammy's darker side return right away during the season opener. Tammy may have shed 500 pounds, but it's obvious that her mental and emotional well-being still needs a lot of work. How did you feel about the season debut on Tuesday night? Are you looking forward to Tammy Slaton's next move? Post your own ideas and opinions in the comments section below. Tammy declined to go swimming with her siblings on a pleasant family outing at the lake. To the astonishment of many, she also accused her family members of not considering her mobility. She accomplished a far greater accomplishment last season when she flew to London for the first time. Tammy screamed that she didn't want to discuss it when the production team even asked her to explain her reasoning. Tammy may have shed 500 pounds, but it's obvious that her mental and emotional well-being still needs a lot of work. How did you feel about the season debut on Tuesday night? Are you looking forward to Tammy Slaton's next move? Post your own ideas and opinions in the comments section below. Chapter 1, The Watershed. Although there has always been a lot of controversy around Tammy Slaton, her life took a significant turn that many people did not anticipate. Tammy, who had struggled with her weight for the most of her adult life, was well known on reality television for her unrepentant manner. She developed a devoted fan base in spite of the difficulties because they valued her sincerity, humor, and fortitude. But as she struggled with weight and developed major health problems, supporters were more worried about her well-being. Tammy stood in front of her bathroom mirror one fateful day, staring at her reflection after a particularly frightening visit to the doctor. She had often joked about the hump on her forehead, but today it had a deeper meaning as the faint light highlighted it with shadows surrounding her face. It stood for years of bad decisions, unhealthy living, and the mental burden she had been shielding herself from. Tammy inhaled deeply and said to herself, "Enough. We need a change now." She made the decision to go out on a life-changing adventure that would not only change the way she looked but also give her a fresh sense of direction. Chapter 2, The Initial Measures to Bring About Change. Tammy was aware that change would not be simple. She began her journey by enrolling in a weight loss program that prioritized mental and emotional well-being in addition to eating. Nutritionists and therapists helped her understand the value of taking care of her health and mind. Every journey needs a strong base, and for Tammy, that base was made up of responsibility, support, and information. She started to follow certain rituals every day. Exercise in the morning became a routine. Even though they began as straightforward neighborhood walks, the little victories motivated her to keep going. There was a sense of success with every stride. Tammy started sharing her experience with her followers on social media, including her food, exercises, and mental health issues. The number of her fans increased along with the dedication to her with each post. Chapter 3. A community of support. The lump on her forehead that had been a source of uneasiness disappeared when her weight started to gradually drop. Tammy was losing weight, but she was also losing years of negativity and self-doubt. Her fans banded together to support her, creating an online community that served as a secure environment for sharing stories, inspiration, and encouragement. In order to interact with followers in real time, she started taking part in live streaming. Her candor inspired viewers who were going through similar difficulties to share their stories. Through raucous laughter and vulnerable emotions, Tammy fostered a sense of unity. During these times, she came to understand that she was on a journey that was more than simply her own. She had become a ray of hope for many. Chapter 4. Confronting individual demons. But there were challenges along the way. There were difficult days when desires seemed uncontrollable and the weight reduction plateaued. Memories of bullying, fears, and emotional eating that had plagued her for years came to the surface. She faced the emotional traumas that were entwined with her issues with food and self-image during one of her therapy sessions. Instead of repressing these emotions, Tammy's therapist advised her to accept them. She was able to comprehend the relationship between her emotional state and her eating patterns by investigating the underlying reasons of her desires through writing and meditation. This in-depth exploration of her mind was both unsettling and freeing. She started redefining her connection with food as a source of fuel for her body rather than as a source of comfort as she came to terms with her history. Chapter 5. Accepting a new self. When Tammy got onto the scale after adopting her new lifestyle for around 6 months, she was shocked to see that she had shed more than 500 pounds. Not only was it a huge accomplishment in terms of numbers, but it also symbolized transformation, tenacity, and resolve. The disappearance of the hump on her forehead represented the release of previous burdens and the acceptance of her new self. People started to observe improvements in her confidence and mannerisms in addition to her physical wellness. Her grin brightened, her laughing grew more real, and an indisputable light emanated from inside. Tammy accepted her flaws, eccentricities, and all that came with being her own self. Chapter 6. A new definition of joy. Tammy's renewed enthusiasm led her to pursue long-suppressed desires. In order to share tasty, healthful dishes with her fans, she began teaching cooking workshops. The kitchen turned into a creative playground. She tried out vibrant veggies, intriguing flavors, and healthy nutrients. Cooking became a shared activity with her family and friends, reinstating ties that had been damaged by her former way of living. In order to communicate with followers, share her culinary adventures, and raise awareness of healthy living, Tammy started a virtual cooking show. What began as a personal quest to better her health evolved into a movement that inspired people to appreciate who they are and enjoy taking care of themselves. Chapter 7. Living without boundaries. As Tammy's physical change progressed, she realized how important it was to establish new objectives. She started taking part in neighborhood charity walks and gatherings, channeling her renewed enthusiasm into endeavors that would inspire others. She developed a passion for making a positive impact on the world as a result of her actions. She freely discussed body positivity, mental health, and the value of community support through her platform. Audiences well beyond her original fan group found resonance in her narrative. Her journey took a new turn when she started blogging, giving public speeches, and working with health groups. During this time, she advocated for holistic wellness and self-love by using her voice. Chapter 8. What's next? The adventure of Tammy Slaton was far from finished. She recognized that change is a continuous process and that developing a healthy, balanced lifestyle is just as important as losing weight. She is now an inspiration to many. She stayed rooted in her principles of integrity, wit, and fortitude as she set her sights on future undertakings. More significantly, she had cleared the mental barriers that had previously imprisoned her, and the hump on her forehead had disappeared. She pushed limits and encouraged others to do the same by continuing to discover new aspects of herself while accepting oneself. Final thoughts. A lovely chapter. In the end, Tammy Slaton's tale serves as a reminder of the value of community, the strength of willpower, and the beauty of change. Life is full of bumps. Sometimes they're on your forehead, but other times they're in the road you travel, she frequently reminded her followers. How you handle such hiccups is what counts. Her journey was an awakening to a life full of possibilities, love, and laughter, and it went beyond simply reducing weight. Tammy stayed loyal to herself throughout it all, demonstrating that genuine change starts on the inside, a lesson she would remember for the rest of her life. Although the first account of Tammy Slaton's trip is brief, a comprehensive 5,000-word account would go into greater detail about her emotional challenges, private discussions, and relationships with friends and family. Her hardships, victories, and the steadfast support of her community were covered in detail in each chapter, creating a heartfelt and humane tapestry of metamorphosis.